In the first 5 chapters of this course, we've been looking at the subject of fitness in general terms, and we've talked about the 5 health-related components of fitness. In the next few chapters, we'll be looking at each of these components in more detail, beginning with flexibility. Flexibility is the ability to move your body's joints through their full range of motion. A lot of us take flexibility for granted, but flexibility is a distinct component of fitness. A component that can be improved and maintained through an exercise program designed specifically for flexibility. Good flexibility is important for a number of reasons. In order to live an enjoyable dynamic life, you need a reasonable amount of flexibility. And since we all lose flexibility gradually, most of us don't notice it until a problem arises. That's why, even if your overall level of fitness is high, you should include some specific flexibility exercises in your personal fitness program. For example, a high percentage of Americans suffer from some form of backache. You probably know an adult, even maybe one of your parents, who is affected by this common problem. Maintaining flexibility now can help prevent lower back pains later. But we don't have to wait until then to benefit from a flexibility program. Good flexibility has immediate benefits we can notice even at this stage of our lives. A flexibility program reduces your chances of being injured when you engage in a training program. That's why high school and professional athletes include stretching exercises in their training.
What's up, man?
Oh, man, you might want to... I've been working out all week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, kind of sore.
And if exercise makes you stiff and sore, you probably haven't been including stretching exercises in your fitness program. Remember, your warm-up and cool-down sessions are very important, and they should always include a series of exercises that stretch shortened muscles to prevent soreness. Stretching exercises also are an excellent way to relieve emotional tension. In fact, you probably use stretching exercises without thinking about them. They're one of the best ways to take a quick break when you're under pressure. You can stretch to relax almost any time, but in order to achieve real improvement in your flexibility, you should engage in a deliberate flexibility program, either separately or as a part of your warm-up and cool-down phase. There are a number of different types of stretching exercises, but only 2 types are recommended as part of a safe flexibility program: static stretching and dynamic stretching. Static stretching is the most widely acceptable type of flexible exercise. It involves stretching a muscle beyond its normal range of motion and then holding that position for 15 to 30 seconds. Dynamic stretching, on the other hand, involves similar positions, but is done in a slow, continuous, and controlled movement. Other types of stretching exercises can be dangerous. Ballistic stretching involves a bouncing motion. This is dangerous because you simply aren't giving your body a chance to warn you if you're stretching too far. During isostatic stretching, a partner, trained people only, helps push you to the maximum range and beyond. Again, this is dangerous because your partner can't judge how far you can stretch without pain. When you work on your flexibility program, remember the 3 principles of training: overload, progression, and specificity. These principles apply to flexibility exercises, just as they apply to all other components of your fitness program. Overload is accomplished through a combination of frequency, intensity, and time. For flexibility training, the recommended frequency is at least 3 times per week. Daily stretching exercises are even better. The intensity of your flexibility training should be judged carefully. A stretching exercise should stretch the muscle beyond its normal length until mild tension is felt. The time of static stretching exercises that is, the time a position is held, can be generally increased from 15 to 30 seconds. Another way to increase the time of your flexibility training would be to increase the number of repetitions for either static or dynamic stretching exercises. The second training principle is progression. In flexibility training, progression is achieved by increasing the frequency, that is the number of sessions per week, intensity, that is the distance the muscle is stretched, or the time, either the time a position is held or the number of repetitions. The third training principle, specificity, also applies to flexibility training. Flexibility varies from one joint to another, and from one individual to another. Remember, you're not competing with others. Your personal fitness is an individual matter. Each stretching exercise is specifically designed for a particular joint or group of joints. Trunk and shoulder joints, joints in your shoulders and arms, and joints in your legs and hips. In performing these flexibility exercises, there are some important safety precautions you should use. First, move the muscle to its maximum range and no more. Don't use your body's momentum to stretch further. Don't let a partner help you get extra stretch. Your body tells you when you've stretched far enough. Your partner can't react to pain and could cause injury. Third, start at the right level and progress carefully, applying the elements of frequency, intensity, and time. Fourth, don't try to compare your flexibility with somebody else's. Stretch according to what you feel, not what others do. And finally, include regular stretching exercises as part of your cardiovascular and muscular strength and endurance training programs to help prevent soreness in tight muscles. As always, the way to start this component of your physical fitness training is by assessing your current level of fitness. During this chapter, you'll test your general flexibility, although obviously there won't be time to test each joint of your body. Once you've determined your current level of flexibility, you'll be introduced to a number of stretching exercises. A careful program of static and dynamic stretching exercises can greatly enhance your flexibility. It will yield benefits now, and it will pay off for you in later life, too. You'll look better and feel better when you include flexibility training as part of your overall health-related fitness program. Of the 5 health-related components of fitness, cardiovascular fitness is often said to be the most important. That's because cardiovascular fitness not only has a great impact on your general health, it also affects your ability to improve the 4 other health-related components of fitness. Cardiovascular fitness is the ability of your body to provide oxygen to your muscles as they perform work over an extended period of time. Cardiovascular fitness is a function of 2 of your body's most important systems, the circulatory system and the respiratory system. Like the other parts of your body, your heart and lungs perform better when they are exercised. Their strength and efficiency decline when they are neglected. What does that mean to you? Good cardiovascular fitness can make a big difference in your life. If you never seem to have enough energy, that's a good sign that you may need to improve your cardiovascular fitness. Cardiovascular fitness also affects how you feel about yourself. It even affects your ability to concentrate and your ability to handle stress. All the cells of your body function better with a healthy supply of oxygen, and that's what cardiovascular fitness provides. If you are active, your heart is able to pump more blood with every beat, and thus deliver more oxygen to the rest of your body. The heart, after all, is a muscle, which means it gets stronger with exercise. There also are more important long-term benefits. You probably don't think much about cardiovascular disease right now. After all, heart disease seems pretty remote when you're in your teens. But take a look at your parents and grandparents. It's almost certain they know someone with heart disease, probably a close friend or relative. Cardiovascular disease causes more than half the deaths in the United States every year. Most important, cardiovascular disease can have its start very early in life, even in your teens. Finally, there's a very pleasant side benefit to a cardiovascular fitness program. The exercises in such a program also help you control your weight and improve your appearance. You will not only feel better and handle daily life better, you'll look better too. As we said, the heart is a muscle, but unlike the muscles in your arms or legs, you can't see the heart growing stronger with exercise. So, you have to rely on the other ways of measuring your heart's strength, primarily by measuring your heart rate, the number of times it beats every minute. The stronger your heart is, the fewer times it must beat in order to supply your muscles with oxygen. You can take your pulse very quickly and easily either at the wrist or at the carotid artery. Count the number of beats in 10 seconds and then multiply by 6. In this chapter, we'll talk about several different pulse rates: your resting heart rate, your recovery heart rate, and a target heart rate. Your resting heart rate should be taken the very first thing in the morning before you get out of bed and begin moving around. As your cardiovascular fitness improves, you'll notice your resting heart rate actually decreases, since your healthier heart has to beat fewer times to supply your body with oxygen. Your target heart rate varies with your age, depending on your heart's maximum rate. For most teenagers, that may be around 200 beats per minute. Your target heart rate is based on that figure and on your resting heart rate. Your recovery heart rate is taken 5 minutes after exercising and again 10 minutes after exercising. Knowing how quickly your pulse slows back down after exercise allows you to judge if you're giving your heart an adequate workout. Let's see how the training principles of overload, progression, and specificity apply to cardiovascular fitness. Remember that overload means pushing a muscle, in this case your heart muscle, beyond its everyday exercise demands. As always, overload is achieved through a combination of frequency, intensity, and time. Ideally, your cardiovascular fitness program will be a part of your daily routine. At a minimum, you should perform aerobic activities at least 3 times a week. Less than that will not increase your level of cardiovascular fitness. Intensity, as we said before, is measured by monitoring your heart rate, your pulse. A good cardiovascular fitness program will elevate your pulse into your individual target heart rate zone. During your exercise, you should monitor your pulse occasionally to ensure that you are within your target heart rate zone, and increase or decrease the pace to keep your heart rate there. Once you've warmed up adequately, you should maintain a pulse rate within the target zone for at least 15 minutes in order to achieve an overload effect, although it may be necessary to work up to this duration if you haven't been exercising regularly. As your heart becomes stronger and is able to pump more oxygen, you will need to increase the amount of overload. This can be accomplished by applying the second principle of training, progression. For example, exercise more frequently during the week, or cover the same distance by